Hello my friends, my name is Rich and welcome to Greatest Rock and Metal. On Greatest Rock and Metal I talk about what are for me the greatest rock and metal bands, albums, gigs of all time, based on many years of listening to thousands of albums and going to hundreds of gigs. Today is a review day and I'm going to be reviewing the latest album from the band Pretty Reckless, their album Death by Rock and Roll. Now, before I do that, I'd just like to say, please take a few moments to subscribe to the channel, press the red button so that you can see future episodes of Greatest Rock and Metal. I would be very grateful, thank you very much. Okay, so, the Pretty Reckless. Now, I'm really excited to be talking and reviewing an album by a new rock band, slash metal band, slash alternative rock, slash country rock, slash. That's one of the things about the Pretty Reckless. They delve into all sorts of musical styles and they do it very well. But more of that in a few moments. So, new bands. Well, as those of you who've watched some of my episodes before will know, I follow all different styles of music within the rock and metal genre, and I have done so for many years. And I have to say that, to be honest, for the last 10 years or so, it started to get a bit stale, in my opinion, in the rock and metal scene. Now, this ain't an old man talking. I might be an old man, but I still very much listen to a lot of new bands, and I try and find the gems amongst the massive music that we get bombarded with nowadays from all the different channels via the internet. And I do come across a few gems, a few, as I call it, future festival headliners, but not many. And it's really disappointing. Now, the internet has played a big part in that, because for sure the ability for record companies to invest in bands how they used to do, to help them create their potential futures and to grow into big festival headliners, it's not really there anymore. And we're seeing less and less people going to gigs at ground level and more saving their money for the big event style gigs. So it's really difficult for new bands to make an impression. But first and foremost, to make an impression, the songs have got to be great. Whatever the style of rock or metal you're into, even if it's the real extreme death metal kind of stuff, you've still got to have good songs. Great example of that, Cannibal Corpse. Now, any of you who know Cannibal Corpse will know they are one of the extremist bands on the planet, death metal. And they've been going for a very long time. And they just released a new album recently. And the songs on there are fantastic. The songwriting is fantastic. It's still kind of vocals where you haven't got a fucking clue what he's singing about most of the time. And it's real extreme drumming and guitar playing. But it's good songs. Let's get back to Pretty Reckless, because this is why I'm reviewing this album today. It's good songs throughout. In fact, great songs. And we'll get onto those a little bit later. So, my first introduction to the Pretty Reckless came at the beginning of their career, back in 2010. They had quite a big hit in the UK with the song Make Me Wanna Die. And it was it got my interest. It was a good song, and so it was over the media a lot in the UK. And I guess what even more caught my eye was the lead singer, the lady Taylor Momsen. I say lady. At the time, she was a very young lady when she started off this band. Now, she'd come to prominence in a TV show called Gossip Girl. I had never heard of Gossip Girl. The only way I heard about Gossip Girl was when I started to hear about Taylor Momsen and the Pretty Reckless. So I had no interest in that. And she, because of the way she looks, she's a beautiful looking lady, and she wasn't afraid to bare her flesh, as you can see on the album cover down here, both in photos and in concert. She attracted a lot of attention, so she was appearing in Kerrang and Metal Hammer magazine quite a lot. So I was aware of them, but that was about it. I continue to be aware of them as they continue to produce albums and create controversy, Taylor especially with the way she would wear so few clothes, but also because actually they produced a lot of good singles. There was tracks like Heaven Knows, Take Me Down, Going to Hell, yeah, all good songs. But for some reason, not enough to hook me in until now. When a few months ago, I heard the song 25, and I saw the video for the track 25, and wow, this song was stunning. And that made me go look back at had they had any other recent releases. And 8 months ago, they've released what became was the title track for the latest album, Death by Rock and Roll, and I missed it. I didn't know it had been released, and I went back and I found that video on YouTube, and wow, another great track. So when the album was released, I thought that's been two really strong songs. I'm gonna give this a go, and I'm so glad I have. So, this album, Death by Rock and Roll, was released in February of this year, 2021, and has been released to great acclaim. And I'm going to talk more about that in a few moments, but first, let's take a look at rock albums by the sea. Okay, so, Pretty Reckless, they've been going a while now. They were formed in 2009, and they kept the same lineup since then. The two main songwriters are Taylor Momsen and guitarist Ben Phillips. And one of the things that really impresses me about this band is they work hard. Since their formation, they've constantly toured, and we've got now 4 studio albums in just over 10 years. So they're real hard workers. And what's impressive about that is Momsen had got pretty good reviews for performance in this Gossip Girl TV show. So for sure she could have gone off and been an actress and taken an easier life. Not going to say easy life, but maybe an easier life into making money. But her heart was in rock and roll. That's what she wanted to do. And fair play to her, she went off and did it. Now, the world of rock and metal is littered with actors and actresses who've tried to do this. We've had Juliette Lewis, we've had Johnny Depp, we've had Keanu Reeves, Jericho. Is he an actor or a wrestler? Kind of go hand in hand, don't they? And none of whom have really, you could say, made it in the rock world. And Momsen has done a great job in persevering and moving away as much as possible from that acting history. She doesn't act anymore, apart from in her videos, and this is her career. And Death by Rock and Roll is, without a doubt, the pinnacle of this career so far. Let's take a look at the album. I was lucky enough to pick up one of the limited versions of it. So here is the album cover. You can see her there Lying on a Gravestone. Back of the album with the title of the song. Now, I was shocked when I opened this up. It's a gatefold album, and I did not expect to see what I saw. There we go. Wait. Just move those over there. Beautiful picture. And in fact, Momsen wanted that as the main artwork, but for obvious reasons, the record company said, you need to cover yourself up a bit, love. And she really is a beautiful looking woman, and she directs the art herself, and fantastic art direction. It's great to see, really great to see artists in rock and metal getting back into the risque side of things. And Momsen and her band Pretty Reckless have not been afraid to do that. Not just with the artwork, but with the lyrics in the songs as well. And that's one of the things that I really like about what they do. They're trying to bring a little bit of, dare I say, danger. Not really the right word, but back into rock and metal, which is what it really needs. It does lack that nowadays with some of the bands. They're all a bit too safe, in my opinion. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then we got the, it's been pressed as a double vinyl. We got the lyrics, and I will show you inside. There we go. This is on silver vinyl. And I also want to just show you one of the other vinyls, because it's only pressed as music on 3 sides, because it's not a particularly long album. And the 4th side has been done as, I don't know if this will show up, it's been done as an etched, they call it an etched side, which has got just the Pretty Reckless logo on it. Probably won't show up, but I thought I'd show you anyway. Now, this album was born from dark times in the Pretty Reckless career. First and foremost, in 2017, they were on tour with Momsen's favourite band, Soundgarden. And sadly, that was the tour in which the Soundgarden singer, Chris Cornell, took his life. And it had a huge impact, a negative impact, obviously, on Taylor Momsen and the band, Pretty Reckless band. That was closely followed by the death of their producer and close friend, Kato. And you will see there's a tribute to him on the album there. And that hit Momsen extremely hard, and she's talked in recent interviews about her struggles and continual struggles with that. But she talks no better about it than in the lyrics to this album. So, I'm going to just mention 4 of my favourite tracks on here. Now, it's a stunning album. It really is. There's so many great tracks on here. And although it wasn't particularly difficult to pick my favourite 4, because these are real standouts in my opinion, there are some other tracks on here that definitely give them a run for their money. It's a solid, consistent album. So, and the tracks that I'm going to pick are actually the first 4 tracks on the album, because they really do bam, 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 bam. Brilliant start to this album, absolutely brilliant. And it starts with the title track, Death by Rock and Roll. Like I said before, this was released way in advance of the album. The reason why is because of COVID. no one was really sure when they wanted to put the album out. They hadn't expected, like many of us I guess, for this pandemic to be around as long as it's has been, so they kept delaying and delaying until this year, where they thought, well, the album's going to get too old if we just keep it in the can, so they decided to release it. So this Death by Rock and Roll song was the lead-off track 8 months ago now, and what a great introduction to the album. Brilliant riff, very, very dark lyrics. She sings about different ways in which rock stars have died or have killed themselves. Very, very dark lyrics, but very clever lyrics as well. And I should say that about a lot of the songs on this album. Really, really clever lyrics have been written, in my opinion. The next track on the album, Only Love Can Save Me Now. Now, I mentioned Soundgarden before. This is as great a tribute, and I say tribute, not rip-off, tribute to Soundgarden as you could ever hear. If you did not know when you first heard the opening riff to this song that it was Pretty Reckless, you would know straight away that this was Soundgarden. And in fact, it's Pretty Reckless guitarist Ben Phillips who plays the main riff and who created the main riff. But you could just close your eyes and you would think that that is Kim from Soundgarden, the guitarist in Soundgarden. Now, Kim does make an appearance on the track. He provides the main solo, and also Matt, the drummer from Soundgarden, plays on the track as well. And you can imagine Chris Cornell singing this. It is such a great song that would have just slotted in nicely in a Soundgarden album or live show. Very well done, Pretty Reckless, with this. You know, it's tough to do songs in the style of other bands because you normally get criticised to hell about it. I'm thinking about you, Greta Van Fleet, and all the grief you get for your Led Zeppelin style of songs. For me, I have no problem with it. When it's done as well as this, and done as well as Greta Van Fleet do it, I don't care if it sounds like other past bands. It should be recognised that it's still a great song, regardless. The next track I would choose, And So It Went, third track on the album. Now this track is huge at the moment. It's the #1 rock song in America, and deservedly so. It's a brilliant song. This has also got a guest appearance by someone on it, a guy by the name of Tom Morello. Provides the solo. Tom Morello, of course, guitarist in Rage Against the Machine. But in fact, Tom Morello isn't the thing about this song. It's the song itself that is great. It's fantastic. Again, and one thing I really like to say as well about these first 4 opening songs, they're all very different kind of musical styles. They're still rock, still metal, but they just, all 4 of them are slightly different in their approach. One of the things that I really love about this song is the chorus. It's such a catchy chorus, and it's enhanced even more by they introduce Main Academy Choir to children's choir to add some vocals to it. And the world does not belong to you. Great chorus, great chorus. Well done, Pretty Reckless. And congratulations on having such a successful song in the States at the moment. Great video as well, great video. And in fact, one of the other, I talked about Pretty Reckless's and Taylor Momsen's artistry, and the videos that they create for their songs are really good videos as well. So check them out on YouTube. I'll put some links below. And then the last song I would choose is my favorite 4. The song I mentioned right at the start of this video that got me into this album, 25. This track is stunning. Stunning video as well. It's so cinematic. It's epic. for some reason, it reminded me, even though it sounds nothing like it, it's like Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears for the 2020s. It's got this epic cinematic feel about it, and many reviewers have talked about it being a potential Bond theme, James Bond theme. Yeah, without a doubt. But putting that aside, the song structure is brilliant, and this is where Taylor Momsen's vocals really shine. Her vocal performance on this album is absolutely brilliant, and on 25 you really feel the emotion and the power in her vocals. She does a fantastic job, an absolutely fantastic job. And in fact, just going back to the song talked about before, and So It Went, at the opening of the And So It Went song, just a few seconds into the opening, there is this incredible scream. I'm going to say it's Momsen screaming. I hope it's not a sound effect. It might be. I've got no idea. I hope it's her screaming, because again, if it is, fantastic vocal performance. And really, the whole band, to be honest, have really excelled themselves with their performance on this album. I really cannot add any more plaudits. You should get this album. If you're into rock and metal, forget the fact that she used to be an actress and all of that. And some of you older guys and girls out there who only go with the classic rock, dig yourself into this, because this is classic rock for the 2020s without any shadow of a doubt. It's got great reviews from other people, and I am adding my stamp of recommendation to it as well. Brilliant, brilliant album. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on Death by Rock and Roll by Pretty Reckless. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please press the red button to subscribe. And remember, as always, we rock!